My biggest issues with Chaos in Siege mode, I've been trying to go for the molecular bonding stud helmet in Hard Siege and always struggle with Chaos. Every time I go against them, there are always multiple Scarab Occult Soul Reaper Terminators spamming their missile barrages, both when I am in melee combat directly in their face or from corners and behind walls where I don't even see them. Dude, yeah, the close range rockets were supposed to be patched, like multiple patches ago, but okay. Yeah, it still happens. Even when I am behind cover, I still get hit with missiles. It feels ridiculous that I can't properly fight them both at a distance or in close quarter melee combat because of their missile barrage, that I have to keep rolling and dodging over and over again when there are multiple of them. Okay, as far as the missile barrages go, yeah, when you see them start to spam, it really turns into either a DPS check or, yes, a roll check and how often you want to do that. Because, yeah, with the missiles, sometimes they really just put you into that position where all you can really do is roll around a corner. And with Terminators, I will say, getting headshots on them with big damage, that's a great way to, stop the missile barrage, of course. Heavy, snipers, even tacticals, scan them, that sort of thing. I guess the Assault class could probably slam them and stun them to stop the missiles. Vanguard, I think the grapple doesn't do any stunning there, unfortunately. I think with Vanguard, you just grapple them and you have iframes for a bit. That's actually kind of helpful, I guess. So I guess with Bulwark, you can't. When it comes to Bulwark, I think blocking missiles is kind of awkward. It really doesn't work out. But, hey, blocking the Terminators with the miniguns. Dude, honestly, the minigun Terminators can seriously be a struggle as well. But that is another case of, hey, they're already within this attack, so I guess we have to roll around here. Because, yeah, with the rockets, you want to roll around a corner. With Terminators, with the miniguns, you want to make sure you roll out of the way of that as well. But yeah, Terminators can be a DPS check sometimes. Other times, they're a parry check. Dude, honestly, parrying Terminators is still so fun to me. Sometimes I hate when they can reach too far in and they miss the parry window just because they went past you. That can be annoying. How are you supposed to deal with them? I want to get better at fighting Chaos, but I can't seem to figure them out. I mostly play as a Prestige 4 Vanguard when doing Hard Siege, if that makes any difference. Well, my biggest issues with Chaos in Siege mode, rocket spam. Yeah, that's actually a fair assessment here. Yeah, the rocket spam for Chaos can definitely be very annoying for sure. And not to mention, it can also blind spot you, so that's dangerous. I feel like getting blind spotted by either the rockets or the minigun. The minigun can absolutely shred your health bar. The rockets are like burst damage, but yeah, I don't think they can one-shot you. I'm pretty sure you can at the very least, it's easier to dodge the... Well, I guess it depends on your position, but for me, for the rockets, if you're just dodging towards the enemy, you should be okay. For the minigun, you just have to dodge away from it. So I guess ultimately what I'm trying to say is, yes, Terminators are annoying, but I think when it comes to Chaos, Terminators are actually the most fun, for me, they're the most fun enemy to fight. Sorcerers, continuously rezzing Rubik Marines, I think that is where Chaos can get annoying for me personally, because the Rubik Marines and their range attacks in Siege mode, sheesh, man, there's just so many of them. Dude, in general, actually, now that I think about it, there's so many points when you're fighting Chaos where you just need to continuously roll out of the way. I feel like all of the rolling in this game is fine for the most part, but it does start to feel too much like a Souls-like. It really depends, but yes, that is when it comes to Hard Siege mode. If you're in a tough room, rolling away is like your only option to really survive. Like honestly, when it comes to even when you get like damage layered, when you see like an AoE attack and like a Ravener going to try to combo you, like sometimes you really don't have any other options but to roll out of the way and just roll like as far as you can go. So I guess when it comes to fighting Chaos, I think the patch for the rockets clearly didn't do a lot. Yeah, the Terminators don't care. They will still spam those rockets even if you're directly in front of them. But yeah, I guess when it comes to Chaos and what people struggle with and how to, circumvent that, we're gonna go into the comments. Let's see how people react to this post. Let's see if anyone has any good answers for this one. But for me, man, sometimes Terminators are just a straight up DPS check. Use the sniper. With at least 2 points of prestige perks, he is just broken, near infinite ammo. I wouldn't go that far. Near 100% uptime invulnerability. Yeah, that's fair. The ammo part is because you're kind of reliant on how much secondary ammo you have to refill your ammo. So, like, near infinite is saying a lot. Melt the bombs every 30 seconds. Yeah, honestly, The strategy with Melta Bombs in Siege mode is 100% the best DPS check you can get, because, yeah, ultimately, if you have a Melta ready to go for each Terminator, or even every other Terminator, you will definitely notice a difference. I feel like making sure you have Meltas or Grenade or some sort of Grenade regeneration in general is definitely very helpful. Not to mention, Sniper, Pattern of Excellence, does have grenade regeneration, which is nice. You don't always need secure stockpile. There's other ways to do this. Heavy also has grenade regeneration, and same with Vanguard. Vanguard and Heavy has the same grenade regeneration, where you have to take out 7 enemies within a short time frame, essentially. So basically, the Melta just fuels itself with that perk. I feel like taking out 7 enemies with Heavy is a lot easier than Vanguard outside of using the grenades. I've been playing a lot of Vanguard recently, actually. I'm really enjoying the class. Chaos or Tyranids, you can rip everything apart pretty easily until the higher waves of even hard. I use the Bolt Carbine, as you can get massive close range damage and laser hip fire for mid-range targets. If that's not your speed, sorry, the other broken build is Tactical Grenade Launcher. That's true, yeah. Dude, honestly, I wish people would say what they were using when they say, like, hey, man, I'm struggling with this content. And it's like, okay, well, what are you using? Like, that's pretty much like a defining detail of how we're gonna figure out, like, how to improve the situation. You really don't even need prestige perks. You just need to tell your teams not to steal your ammo boxes to buy them instead of caches if they want to help you out. Overcharge spamming a plasma pistol pairs well with drinking all those ammo boxes. 60 seconds equipment for you and your buds. Either of these builds will make cleansing the foul heretics quite simple, at the very least, to get you the helm. Yeah, I mean, resource management is very important. I think, yeah, Wave 15 hard siege mode is prestige perks required. Again, it really depends on your class. I would say if you're playing Sniper, yeah, you definitely at least need 1 prestige perk. Same goes for Heavy, because Heavy you can get ammo regeneration for executing extremists. You need stuff like that when it comes to hard siege mode specifically, just so you can manage your points a little easier. Which is wild that not every class is a way to do that, but regardless, I think ultimately these are definitely some good strats. Meltas, grenade launchers, yeah, use Sniper. Use Sniper is a good one, but really though, the equipment recharging perks is where you want, because that's definitely what you want, because with Meltas, shock grenades, crack grenades, all of those, even regular grenades can stagger enemies. So honestly, just getting grenade regeneration is probably your key here to deal with chaos. Vanguard is unfortunately the one who struggles the most against those guys. You really only have 2 options to deal with them comfortably: Melta Bomb, Melta Rifle. Otherwise, just make sure you're close to a wall or something to be able to take cover behind and whittle them down from range. The rockets can be dodged reliably, just need to learn the timing. Oh no, they can. The rockets can be dodged reliably. The thing that just annoys me is that it was supposed to be patched. The rockets were supposed to be patched where you weren't going to see rocket spam close range. And not to mention, I think they even diminished the amount of times they even spam the rockets in general, I think. But I guess over time with the rocket spam, Terminators said, nah, I'm good. I'll just keep spamming rockets. Who cares? So yeah, dude, honestly, that is the growing sentiment here, is that it feels like Vanguard's actually kind of in a tough spot in general when it comes to late wave siege mode. I think obviously Unmatched Zeal is very good. The fact that they can get their Melta back, that's pretty much all you really need. However, the Vanguard still doesn't have any sort of ammo regeneration. Having health regeneration is really good. I guess maybe in this conversation specifically with Vanguard versus Chaos, I think the issue potentially could just be the fact that the Vanguard is pretty reliant on having a good melee synergy, and Chaos with melee classes definitely not the best pairing. Dude, which also, I don't want to talk about this really, but I will point out that it does feel like the contested health changes the devs suggested low-key buffs Chaos, as they mentioned before that they wanted to adjust Chaos to be less punishing. So sheesh, guys. That is one tough corner they put themselves in, huh? Vanguard has absolutely no problem dealing with Chaos. Just get in there and smack them around. The missiles are probably the least problematic attack for me to deal with. Just dodge, as Vanguard eat Terminators for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Well, shout out to that guy. Yeah, guys, just, use grapple, go in there and smack them around, okay? Dude, this is an interesting comment. I think they were talking about hard siege mode here, right? So, okay, you grapple in while they are doing the rocket attack. So you're able to get some iframes on the grapple, so you do avoid some rockets there. But then you go for the smacking the Terminator around thing, and the Terminator just poises through and hits you clean in the face with a spinning attack. I don't even know if the spinning Terminators can even have rockets, to be honest. But yeah, I just feel like this strategy says a lot, but details very little. There's not a lot to go on here. Like, what melee weapon are you using to smack around Terminators as Vanguard? Let me know. But yeah, ultimately, when it comes to dealing with Chaos, it does feel like a lot of people are talking about Meltas and Melta rifles as well, which is kind of interesting because it's burst damage, right? Burst damage is really good, but you're still within melee range. So I guess the fact that the Meltas can just get there before melee, you know what I mean? Since Meltas are just a little bit better at range than melee, obviously. I think that just says a lot with how small the percentage of error is. Like, honestly, the window of error against Chaos, if you make one mistake, whether it's positioning, whether it's missing a parry, you're gonna get punished pretty hard for it. Which is fine. Honestly, dude, like Chaos, when it comes to fighting Chaos in Siege mode, I have a good time fighting them for the most part. It's just Sorcerers. Sorcerers can be really... Oh, and a bunch of rubrics just, all lined up, ready to go with a ranged attack. That can be a little annoying. I guess it really depends. Zangors, input reading Zangors, yeah, I hate those. Disc Shamans haven't really been that big of a deal for me, but I felt like I've been playing a lot of ranged classes recently, so I can see where the Disc Shamans, if you're using the Melta, might be a little annoying, I guess. I mean, you should be able to stun them regardless, so I don't know. I think this is a very interesting conversation considering the fact that the devs are already considering maybe potentially nerfing our contested alto generation, which would make fighting Chaos a lot harder, and then B, also nerfing Chaos. So that sounds like a lot of work, right, guys? So yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys have any good strategies for fighting Terminators, rocket spamming Terminators, or Chaos in general in Siege mode that you've noticed. It feels like the original poster, for whatever reason, is playing Vanguard. A lot of people have Vanguard responses, but a lot of people are also saying play Sniper or Heavy, or tactical, I guess. But yeah, sometimes Terminators, sometimes Chaos enemies in general can be a DPS check. Sorcerers, though, sheesh, man. Those shields, dude, Sorcerers are a great enemy to save Meltas for. Terminators, great enemies to save Meltas for, but you can also parry them. So, Sorcerers you can parry, but it's weird. It's slow, and Sorcerers are just so annoying sometimes. But yeah, ultimately, when it comes to Chaos, I think I think when it comes to Chaos and Siege mode specifically, the issues really arise if you're just playing like a melee class, you know what I mean? But yeah, if you're playing a melee class, bring out the Melta. If you're playing the Assault class, I think you really should be taking advantage of the iframes you get with slams. So just try to aim for enemies that are grouped up and make sure you use like the cooldown perk for Assault, where if you get slam kills, you can basically get your jetpack back. So that's a good way to continuously spam slams so you can continuously have iframes. I would say save your jetpack for situations where you're like, oh, I don't know if I can dodge out of this one. Let me jump up in the air. Let me get some... Oh, you do need prestige perks for this, but yeah, you would need Unyielding Oath. When you jump up in the air, you get 3 seconds of iframes, and now when you land, you also get iframes. So doing that can actually kind of protect you as Assault. So I think with Vanguard, Unmatched Zeal obviously is a must. I'm playing a lot more Vanguard now, but with the Melta specifically, I think you should still be in a good spot for the Melta. Melta might be Vanguard's best weapon for Siege mode, because I think the enemies that it's bad against, like Zoanthropes, you can still grapple up the Zoanthropes, so you still have a way to encounter them. You still have a way to engage. But yeah, ultimately the Melta can still feel a little bit limiting in certain situations, but in Siege mode it's great. So I think ultimately, yeah, if you're playing Vanguard, pull out the Melta rifle and use the Meltas. You should be fine. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys still think fighting Chaos in Siege mode and hard Siege mode is an issue. Let me know in the comments if you have any good strats for them, and thanks for watching.